In the world of nationwide job transfers, I have awakened to the unique dual profession. Are there any professions that defy the heavens? Cherish high-quality items. I synthesize directly. Cherish high-quality skills. I synthesize directly. Cherish high-end pets. I will continue to synthesize. Wait, how did this beast girl become so big after synthesizing? First, let's synthesize 3 skeleton summon synthesis. Undead army, 3 more dark wands to synthesize synthesis. Death wand, the game competition of billions of races in the universe, our solar system, can we earthlings stand on a broader stage? Keywords of the novel. All people. Synthesizer, opening synthesized undead army no pop-ups, all people. Synthesizer, opening synthesized undead army complete collection download txt, all people. Synthesizer, opening synthesized undead army latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Abyss of Heaven and Earth, 4-star combat profession. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Abyss of Heaven and Earth, 4-star combat profession. Lao Mo, hurry up and look at the school gate. There are many beautiful and wealthy women. How many of them have first-class figures and looks? Why is there such a group of people coming over every year? Nonsense, young boys who have just graduated from school are the most innocent and easy to fish for. They naturally want to get close to the water and tower first. Once there is a high potential, they can also take it early. What you said makes sense, Chen-mo couldn't refute for a moment. It is said that the better the training results on a regular basis, the higher the chance of awakening to a high-star career. Lao Mo, your physical education performance has always been ranked first in the same grade, and our class relies on you to win glory. Wait a moment, you may still be noticed by the ladies over there. A large part of these people are wealthy heirs from declining families who have not awakened their combat profession. Their future life will definitely be difficult, so they naturally want to find a good husband. Even if my training results are good on weekdays, the teachers have said that the probability is higher, and it's not certain if I can make a big splash. Chen-mo didn't look too high at himself. Faced with uncertain things, he still likes to lower his expectations to avoid affecting his mentality. Today is the annual day for high school seniors to awaken their careers. At this moment, many students and teachers are gathering on the playground of Haiban No. 2 Middle School, preparing for the awakening ceremony. Although Chen-mo has performed well in recent years, his heart is still full of tension. When Chen-mo unexpectedly traveled to a world where everything was the same as the original world, he did not realize that he had traveled in the first place. After all, whether it's close relatives or friends, they all exist just like before traveling. But the only difference is the survival law of this world. Life is not changed here by rote memorization of cultural knowledge. But it depends on continuous exercise to improve physical fitness, and in the year of graduating from high school, the unified awakening of career will determine the future path. In his past life, Chen-mo really disliked things he carried back and forth, but he actually enjoyed studying martial arts. After traveling, he naturally doesn't feel as hard as other classmates when exercising, but instead enjoys it, which makes his daily academic performance very good. Naturally, they have high expectations from their family and friends. At this moment, Chen-mo's homeroom teacher Su Tianxin walked slowly to his side. This homeroom teacher looked very young, dressed in a snow-white holy robe, but still couldn't conceal her delicate and graceful figure. Chen-mo, don't be nervous for a while. Your grades are good on weekdays, but you don't have to put too much pressure on yourself. The exercise effect is good on weekdays, but improving can give you the opportunity to obtain a high-star profession. If the awakening result is mediocre later, don't be discouraged. Even if it's just awakening to the Samsung profession, it's not inferior to 70% of students in the same class nationwide. Although Su Tianxin also hopes that his students can have a better future, in order to prevent the impact of excessive expectations, Su Tianxin came specifically to give him a preventive shot first. Chen Nimo nodded and said, "Thank you for your concern, teacher. I understand. Just understand." Su Tianxin smiled and patted Chen Mo's shoulder, walking back to the front of the crowd. In just 1 minute, the awakening formation will be set up, and everyone will be arranged neatly according to their student numbers. At that time, they will start awakening in order. As Su Tianxin's words fell, a group of students consciously formed a long queue. Haibin No. 2 High School, among many high schools in Jiangnan Province, is considered a relatively mediocre one. So there aren't many classes set up, and there are only 4 classes in each class, with 30 people in each class, for a total of 120 people. 2 awakening arrays work together and can be completed in just 1 hour. When everyone finished queuing, the principal and 2 vice principals had already set up the 2 awakening formations. With the development of the times, it has become much more convenient for people to awaken their professions. In ancient times, humans had to take risks to find awakening arrays in the wild to awaken themselves. Dear high school seniors, we have been waiting for a long time. The awakening formation has been completed and the awakening ceremony has officially begun. Class 1 and Class 2 share 1 awakening formation, while Class 3 and Class 4 share 1 awakening formation. Each class will alternate in awakening. Next, please ask Class 1 and Class 3 to step out and walk to the middle of the formation. The principal's voice spread throughout the entire playground, and immediately 2 students walked out of the team together. Chen Nimo is a student in Class 1, student number 7, and it's not his turn yet. The first class to be listed is the most hardworking female student among Chen Mo's classmates, who is also quite beautiful and has a certain popularity among the male students in the class. Lao Mo, how many professions can Shen Bingbing awaken? Fong Datong, who was only 1 size behind Chen Mo, placed his chin on Chen Mo's shoulder and asked in his ear with great interest. Based on her usual performance, awakening to a 3-star career shouldn't be a big problem. I think so too. Soon, Shen Bingbing and the first student of Class 3 had already stood in their respective awakening arrays. I saw the principal's staff in his hand, and the 2 awakening formations suddenly burst into strange brilliance. After 3 breaths, a strange wave appeared above the awakening array, and a light blue light flashed on Shen Bingbing's head. At the same time, a sudden chill filled the air, causing students from Class 1 and Class 2 who were closer to him to feel a sudden drop in temperature around him. Looking at Shen Bingbing's head again, 4 stars suddenly fell. Oh my goodness! A celestial anomaly, a 4-star combat profession. The students couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. Wow, this is also too lucky. Although Bingbing is the first among girls, her training performance in our class can only be considered as barely squeezing into the top 10, and she has awakened to the 4-star combat profession. This is really enviable. The initial awakening profession has a maximum of 5 stars. The higher the professional star rating, the greater the potential. When you level up, you will receive corresponding attribute points based on the star level of your profession. You can earn 5 attribute points for each star you own. That is to say, a 5-star professional can gain a full 20 attribute points at each level compared to a 1-star professional. As this accumulates, the gap widens rapidly. Shen Bingbing, awakening profession. Frost Mage, with a 4-star rating. Congratulations. The principal smiled and promoted Shen Bingbing's awakening. With the addition of a 4-star profession, Shen Bingbing's overall temperament couldn't help but undergo some changes, as if becoming even colder. Shen Bingbing's changes made the 3rd-class students in the nearby awakening formation who had just awakened a 1-star profession feel envious. He has 4 stars, but only 1 star. He is truly more popular than others. But overall, he's not bad either. At least he's awakened to a combat profession, which is better than a awakened life profession. To extend his lifespan, he has to hire someone else to help, and it all depends on their looks. Bing Bing is very good, it gave our class a good start. As Shen Bingbing returned, Su Tianxin smiled and lightly stroked her back, saying. Shen Bingbing humbly smiled at Su Tianxin without speaking, and between her smiles, she secretly glanced at Chen Mo. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 1 in a Billion, Aliens Take Action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. 1 in a Billion, Aliens Take Action. Lao Mo, this ice beauty seems to be interested in you. Fong Datong saw Shen Bingbing's sneak glance just now and immediately happily nudged Chen Mo with his elbow. Chen Mo smiled helplessly and said, "Stop talking nonsense." As the two spoke, the second group had already entered the awakening formation. He is the first member of Class 2 and Class 4. The luck of both of them in this group is not very good. They are all awakened to life professions, and they are all 1 star. One of the blacksmith professions is slightly better, making it easier to find a job. The profession of another banknote inspector is extremely outrageous, and apart from being able to distinguish counterfeit currency, there is no other use for it. From their expressions, it can be seen that they are quite dissatisfied with their life and career. I thought Shen Bingbing's awakening of the 4-star combat profession at the beginning was a good start, and this year there may be several good seedlings in Haiban No. 2 Middle School. Unexpectedly, the beginning was the peak. Next, several groups went up in a row, all of which did not exceed 2 stars. Fortunately, the proportion of awakened combat professions is still around 60%, not low. As Class 2 and Class 4, Class 6, entered the awakening formation, it was finally Chen Mo's turn. As a result, at this moment, a shocking anomaly erupted on the head of the 6th student in Class 4. Ha ha ha. With a loud roar, a tall and powerful man with a gun appeared in mid-air. With a single shot, it pierced through the sky like lightning, exuding a majestic aura that pierced through heaven and earth. Immediately, 4 stars fell one after another onto the student. 4-star combat profession. Dragon Lance Knight. Another 4-star profession has been born, which has made Shen Rulong, the principal of Haiban No. 2 Middle School, extremely happy. In previous years, having 1 4-star profession and 2 3-star professions was already a fairly good achievement. Although the majority of the students did not perform well earlier this year, now only Shen Bingbing and Li Jiaran from Class 4 have 2 4-star combat professions appearing. Finally, Haiban No. 2 High School can deliver a satisfactory answer this year. Shen Rulong couldn't help but think to himself, if you give me some more good seedlings, our Haiban No. 2 Middle School is expected to be promoted. Sleeping Slot, another 4-star, it's good to see one in previous years. What's going on today? Not even half of the awakened classmates have come out. Only 2 have come out. Fong Datong was somewhat shocked. Chen Mo also appeared quite surprised, and at the same time, he felt a faint sense of unease in his heart. Can I still get a high-star profession if I have 2 4 stars in front of me? There was no time for Chen Mo to think more. Su Tianxin had already called his name and asked him to go up. Lao Mo, come on, I'll keep an eye on you. Give the big guy a 5-star shot. Seeing Chen Mo about to appear, Fong Datong immediately cheered him on. I'll borrow your auspicious words. After Chen Mo finished speaking, he walked into the so-called awakening formation with a nervous heart. Don't ask for 5 stars, just get a top 3 star. Chen Mo silently recited in his heart, while at this moment, the 7th student from Class 3 on the other side had also entered the awakening formation. Chen Mo couldn't help but glance at the classmate. There were only so many people in the same class, and most of them knew each other. The girl from Class 3 is named Yan Yingyue, and she has the best training performance in her class, which is even better than the boy with the best training performance in their class. It's not easy for girls to catch up with boys in this kind of physical exercise, let alone surpass them, which shows their hard work in their daily lives. She has such perseverance and foundation, and Chenimo feels that her chance to awaken to the high star profession is probably not small. But today she, like herself, was not very lucky. After all, 2 4-star professions were released earlier. Based on the fact that there are no 2 4-star professions available in a year, it is highly likely that they will be in professions below 4 stars. As Chenimo was lost in thought, the principal had already raised his staff and moved forward, and the awakening formation instantly burst into a strange light. This time, even more astonishing changes have emerged. Chenimo saw the entire sky suddenly shine with light, and the clouds in the sky seemed to be pulled by some kind of gravity. They all gathered together strangely and quickly, forming a huge white cloud that enveloped the sky above Haiban No. 2 Middle School. However, no one noticed the changes in the clouds at this moment, and everyone's attention was drawn to the 7th student from class 3 next to Chenimo. After this classmate woke up, a holy light shone in her awakening array, dazzling and making people unable to help but stare over. Oh my goodness, it's not a high-star healing profession, is it? I don't know which teacher shouted this, but Principal Shen Rulong improvised and said, yes, this holy aura is definitely a high-star healing profession. Before everyone could finish their shock, a holy light scattered across the entire sky. Whether it was a hidden illness, a hidden injury, or just small wounds and scars on the bodies of the students, they miraculously began to heal. Physical illusion, absolute 5-star profession. Absolute 5-star profession. Just as everyone was bathed in the holy and warm light, feeling very healed. Boom! The sky was filled with eerie thunderbolts, and a terrifying thunderbolt attempted to strike into the holy radiance of the sky. In an instant, Principal Shen Rulong, along with 2 other vice principals and all the teachers in the school, were extremely angry. Although there may not be a 5-star professional in our Haiban No. 2 middle school, we have made 120,000 preparations. Damn alien, seek death. As the principal spoke, his figure had transformed into a stream of light, heading straight towards the numerous young women at the school gate. Before these people had a chance to react, the principal's wand touched and in an instant, more than 10 wind blades raging in mid-air appeared out of thin air, shooting at one of the women wearing a special necklace. Humph, since I've been discovered, it's not fun anymore. I'll leave first. The woman smiled indifferently and with a flick of her right hand, a stone-emitting gray light appeared. Gijishi. Lao Lu's enclosed space. With a low shout from Shen Rulong, Vice Principal Lu Anfu immediately understood and threw a barrier stone, intending to seal the space. However, the woman's expression remained unchanged. She held a dark black dagger in her left hand and swiped it casually. The next moment, her figure disappeared in front of everyone. Damn it, the dagger in her hand seems to be able to break through the barrier. Lu Anfu fell beside Shen Rulong and said displeased. Forget it, it's not easy to deal with the Gijishi. If we waste one on the other side, it can be considered that there are fewer hidden dangers causing trouble on our side. Seeing the protagonist run away, Shen Rulong stopped talking and returned directly to the center of the playground. And at this moment, the illusion in the sky has just ended. I saw the holy radiance converging and transforming into 5 stars, falling from Yan Yingyue's head and entering her body. Suddenly, a line of big characters appeared on Yan Yingyue's head. Congratulations on successfully awakening your only initial profession, the 5-star healing profession. Holy Spirit Pastor, all 5-star initial professions are the only ones that exist, and being able to awaken any one is a great thing, so the Tao will be publicly displayed. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 is Unparalleled, Awakening Dual Professions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is Unparalleled, Awakening Dual Professions. Although there have been speculations based on the anomaly before, it has now been confirmed to be another matter. All the students were shocked to see Yen Ingyue, the 5-star profession, and the 100-year-old establishment of Haiban No. 2 Middle School. In all, there was once a professional who awakened to the 5-star profession. And this only existence is the third principal of Haiban No. 2 Middle School. But now the old principal is no longer here, because the last natural disaster struck. He sacrificed heroically to protect the safety of the school's teachers and students. As 5 stars fell onto Yen Ingyue, she instantly became the center of attention. On Chen Mo's side, only 3 people are still paying attention to him. One is Chen Mo's homeroom teacher Su Tianxin, the other is Chen Mo's close friend Fang Datong, and the other is Shen Bingbing, who always secretly follows Chen Mo for some reason. Under the attention of the 3 of them, only 2 stars landed on Chen Mo's head. If we stick to the past, the grades in 18th tier high schools in small areas like Haiban No. 2 Middle School would also be considered good. But today, against the backdrop of a 5-star professional and 2 4-star professionals, the 2 stars that fell on Chen Mo's head were far from enough to see. And the most frustrating thing is that the profession that Chen Mo awakens is a stupid batch of professions. Professional talent is almost useless. The 3 couldn't help but feel sorry for Chen Mo. They all feel that Chen Moping's daily hard work in training should not be the result. At this moment, the 3 of them felt regretful, but they didn't know that behind the 2 stars they could see on the surface, there were 5 hidden stars that fell into Chen Mo's body. Therefore, he is still in shock. This is the heavenly reminder he received. Heavenly Way Reminder. Congratulations on receiving the blessing of the Heavenly Way and successfully awakening your profession. Heavenly Reminder. You have obtained the 2-star combat profession. Skull Mage. Heavenly Reminder. Detected your soul abnormality. Your soul is a fusion soul, including both local and non-local souls. Heavenly Reminder. Considering that you are a special existence with dual souls merging, according to the rules of 1 soul and 1 profession, you can awaken a second profession, and we are awakening a second profession for you. Heavenly Tao Reminder. As your second soul is a non-local soul, your second profession will exist as a hidden profession and cannot be actively displayed or explored by any means. Heavenly Reminder. You have obtained the only 5-star hidden life profession. Infinite Fusion Master. I flipped through the heavenly prompts I received several times. Chen Mo understood that this seemed to be the result of his own time travel. Since he could have the same family and friends as his previous life, he naturally existed alive before he crossed over. Where did the soul go after crossing over? Recalling all the memories of my past life that I strangely possessed after traveling through this world, it is very likely that this is what is called soul fusion. The person before this world may have been too playful, always staying up late to play games and watch short videos, but suddenly died. I just came here by a stroke of luck, and because I am already the same person, my soul easily merged and succeeded. I never thought it would bring me such additional benefits. Don't be fooled by the fact that awakening's second profession is a life-oriented one. At this point, Chen Mo's attributes are surprisingly good. Name. Chen Mo, star rating. 7 stars, hidden with 2 and 5 stars, occupation. Skeleton Mage, initial occupation, plus Infinite Fusion Mage, hidden initial occupation, level. Level 1 experience. 0 out of 100, attribute. Constitution 10 is equal to 300 HP, 50 physical defense, 10 HP recovery points / 10 second strength, 10 equals physical attack, 30 agility, 10 equals critical damage plus 10% intelligence, 10 equals magic attack, 30 spirit, 10 equals energy, 500, defense 50, energy recovery 10 points / 10 seconds. Assignable attribute 70 points. Soul fusion triggers dual initial professions and surprisingly has this benefit. The star ratings of the professions are stacked together, and each level's attributes are calculated according to the rules after 1 turn. This is also amazing. Because the initial profession only has a maximum of 5 stars, in order to improve the star level, one must undergo career reincarnation. After passing the reincarnation test, the career star level will be further improved. When the professional star rating exceeds 5 stars, the attribute points corresponding to each star will become 10 points. That is to say, after a turn, if your profession can reach 6 stars, then the attribute points you can obtain at each level are 60 points. But now Chinemo has never made any changes and is only starting his career. However, because his career star rating is 7 stars, easily surpassing 5 stars, the Heavenly Tao directly calculates him based on the upgrade attributes after surpassing 5 stars. I gave him the treatment that only a 7-star profession can enjoy after he came up, and at level 1, he has a total of 70 attribute points that can be freely allocated. At the beginning of someone's first level, the highest 5-star initial profession only has 25 attribute points at level 1. I have 45 more attribute points per level than them. If this were converted into a treasure that increases attributes, I wouldn't know its value. I am able to lead by nearly twice as much as a genius out of millions, and compared to most others, I can't even see the taillights. Excited, Chinemo was not in a hurry to assign attribute points. He needed to first check if the 2 initial professions he had awakened needed to focus on assigning a certain attribute. Initial class. Battle. Skull Mage, Professional Talent. Skull Commander, Skeleton Commander. The units you attack will be marked with a focus mark, and units carrying this mark will receive double the damage when attacked by your summoned items. Professional Skill. Skeleton Summoning, White, Skeleton Summoning. White. Consume 100 points of energy, summon a skeleton monster, and the skeleton monster will last for 30 seconds. Cooldown time is 5 seconds, and the attributes of a skeleton monster are linked to your intelligence and spirit. The current attributes of the skeleton monsters you can summon are Health 100, Physical Attack 30, Physical Defense 0, and Magic Defense 0. I've heard before that Skeleton Mage is a very mediocre profession. As expected, there is no talent at all. The energy required for a single summon is still so high, but the summoned skeleton monster is so useless. How can we play this? Just looking at a skeleton monster may not reveal its garbage, but comparing the initial skills of other professions will reveal the difference. The white quality skill of a mage, Fireball, consumes only 10 points of energy but inflicts up to 100 points of spell damage and intellectual damage. If a regular mage and a skeleton mage fight, with a Fireball spell, the skeleton mage's skeleton monster will explode directly. And they only consumed 10 points of energy, while you have 100 points. Their Fireball spell cooldown is only 3 seconds, you are 5 seconds. One is a 1-star profession, and the other is a 2-star profession, the difference is really hard to see. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 5-star Hidden, Infinite Fusion Master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 5-star Hidden, Infinite Fusion Master. By this comparison, we can also understand why people recognize Skeleton Mage as the weakest profession among 2-star professions. It's not even as good as a 1-star profession, I don't know why it was rated as a 2-star. Due to the lack of a legendary Skeleton Mage yet, the evaluation of this profession has not been very positive. As for whether there will be any amazing changes in the future, it is unknown. Because a skeleton mage needs a strong skeleton to have good output ability, but if he only wants to improve the skeleton attributes and only add some intelligence and spirit, it will make his body very fragile. A fragile body is easy to die. This is not a game, it's the real world. Once you die, it's really dead. Unless someone with resurrection ability resurrects you, but it's not easy. One thing is whether someone discovered you after dying in the wilderness. Even if someone discovers you, they should be willing to waste their energy to take you back to the city. Even if someone takes you back to the city, your family should have enough assets to spend a lot of money to find someone with the ability to resurrect you. Of course, if you have relatives and friends who have the ability to resurrect, then naturally you are much better at surviving than ordinary people. Once you die for more than 24 hours without being resurrected, even if someone finds you later, you will never have a chance to be resurrected. Therefore, when there is no overbearing relationship, everyone needs to try their best to improve their survival ability. But the situation of the skeleton mage is like before, adding a skeleton to the body is not enough, and adding a skeleton's own body is not enough. And his talent is to attack monsters on his own in order to add a focus state and increase skull output. The level of attack spells that skeleton mages can use themselves is very high, which is not something that ordinary people can obtain and learn. In this way, the talent of the skeleton mage naturally disappears. After all, how can a fragile skeleton mage confront monsters head-on? Unlike other professions, their talents are truly effective. Whether it's the mage's increase in spell damage, the knight's increase in flesh, or the warrior's increase in damage. According to the information currently available, all low-quality skills of the skull mage are linked to the skull monster. Once the skull monster is not strong enough, the skull mage will have nothing to do in the early stages, and can only be said to be slightly stronger than the life class. Even Chen Mo himself despised his 2-star combat profession at this moment. Fortunately, he is now a 7-star professional, completely different from an ordinary 2-star professional, with many attribute points. With the blessing of high attributes, perhaps compared to ordinary skeleton mages, his skeleton monster strength will be higher and he will have some achievements in the future. For now, Chen Mo has turned his attention to his hidden profession, which is not suitable for the 2-star cerebral palsy professions. Initial hidden occupations life. Infinite Fusion Master, Professional Talent. Infinite Fusion. You can freely select 3 materials of the same quality and synthesize them according to the synthesis rules to obtain a brand new and better material. You can also learn the corresponding formula to synthesize multiple different materials. Life professions generally have no skills, only one talent effect. Just looking at this talent effect alone doesn't seem to feel the abnormality of this life profession. But as long as you know the rarity of high-quality items, you will know how powerful this talent ability is. Especially for the profession of skull mage, as long as it has high-level skills, it will change its decline and at least be able to match its 2-star level. With the profession of Infinite Fusion Master, it is not difficult to obtain high-level skills. Chen Mo was even eager to give it a try at this moment. After checking the 5-star lifestyle professions, Chen Mo walked out of the awakening formation with a good mood. And Yan Yingyue, who had awakened to the 5-star combat profession next to him, had just woken up from a wave of fear. Just now, an alien made a move to destroy her awakening illusion. Once the person who made the move successfully dispels the awakening illusion, her 5-star profession awakening will fail, and it is very likely that the 5-star profession will disappear and become a 1-star profession. The difference between 5-star and 1-star professions can be described as a world of difference, and future achievements are also incomparable. It is only natural for Yan Yingyue to feel afraid of this. After calming down her emotions, Yan Yingyue finally had an indescribable layer of joy on her face. The 5-star combat profession is simply an honor to honor our ancestors. She wished she could run home immediately to tell the whole family that she was old and young. Yan Yingyue's awakening of the 5-star combat profession is not just about her being happy, whether it is her homeroom teacher or the school principal, they are all happy at this moment. For a moment, everyone gathered around her like stars and moons, congratulating her. Chen Mo, on the other hand, quietly walked back to his class waiting area. The first 6 awakened students here were sitting in different positions casually. When Chen Mo came over, Shen Bingbing opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but didn't say it. The boy next to her looked at Chen Mo and said, "Old Mo, don't lose heart. It's common for those who have excellent training results to pull their hips when they wake up. You don't have to worry, at least you're better than me." As soon as he said these words, a girl beside him immediately slapped his back and looked at him contemptuously, saying, "If you can speak, go buy a pair of mute medicine and take it." After speaking, she looked at Chinemo and said, "It's okay. At least you're a combat profession, which is much better than an awakening life profession. It doesn't matter if you're inconspicuous at the moment, but there will be opportunities to change your destiny in the future." Although this girl's words are reasonable, everyone knows that it is very difficult to achieve a higher star rating through career transformation. It's easy to have one more star for career reincarnation, but it's very difficult to add a few more stars. A career reincarnation can only add up to 5 stars, but most people only choose to challenge themselves to a 2-star level. Even if it's just a 2-star level, the mortality rate is about 10%. As for the higher star reincarnation trials, the mortality rate is even higher. For the sake of survival, many people dare not take on too high challenges. Chinemo knew that his classmates were comforting him. He smiled slightly and said, "You don't need to comfort me, it's okay. I was already prepared for such a result." After speaking, Chinemo silently sat near them. When everyone saw Chinemo's indifferent expression, they all felt that he was just pretending to be calm, and their hearts must have already cooled down. Therefore, everyone was sensible and didn't say much more. However, after seeing Chinemo's performance, Chen Bingbing had a vague concern in her heart. She slowly moved her buttocks closer to Chinemo, hesitated for a moment, and finally spoke softly, "Chinemo, do you have a fixed team for tomorrow's beginner assessment?" End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Newcomer Assessment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Newcomer Assessment. The beginner assessment is a welfare assessment for high school seniors before graduation. Although the assessment results may affect the priority of choosing the exam venue in the future, this is not as important for most people. This assessment will have big shots following and protecting, so it can be upgraded very safely. But the time limit is only 12 hours, so try to improve your strength within these 12 hours. After all, there won't be big shots protecting you every day in the future. Only those children with backgrounds can enjoy the personal protection of the big shots every day. But who would come to their small seaside No. 2 middle school to study for children with a big background? The students in this school can be said to be all ordinary children without a background, and this opportunity for beginner assessment is a very precious opportunity for them to upgrade with peace of mind. In theory, at this time, it is advisable to try to find some strong output personnel to form a team. Shen Bingbing surprisingly found himself asking about the team formation, and Chinemo was obviously surprised. "I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet," Chinemo replied after thinking for a moment. Recalling the scene when Yen Inue awakened her 5-star profession just now, Chinemo couldn't make up her mind whether to let people know about her innate talent. A awakening of a 5-star initial profession is enough to make the alien Akiko, who is hidden among humans, unable to resist taking action. If his existence far beyond the 5-star initial profession is known to them, they will not form a group to kill him. Although it is possible to receive some protection from human powerhouses, there are only those who engage in theft for 1,000 days, not those who defend against theft for 1,000 days. Human beings are constantly growing and breaking through, and it is impossible to take meticulous care of them every day. Ultimately, it is safest to temporarily prevent anyone from knowing one's own details. If there are some high-level equipment and skills that can make a name for themselves, it can be concealed. Otherwise, their behavior will be different from that of a normal skeleton mage, which will obviously arouse suspicion. In view of this, Chen Mo actually doesn't really want to team up with others. "I see that you have a good relationship with Fong Datong. I guess you will form a team, and I happen to have 2 people on my end." Shen Bingbing remained silent for a moment and continued, "Why don't we form a team? You are a 4-star combat profession, it should be very easy to find powerful output teammates. How could you think of teaming up with me?" Chen Mo gave her a strange look. "I was thinking that your summon could help pull monsters, so that I could easily output. Shen Bingbing quickly explained the reason, as if she had planned it in advance. Shen Bingbing's reasons sound very logical. Chen Mo didn't say anything for a moment. During their conversation, the seventh member of Class 2 and Class 4 had already awakened. Just now it exploded with a 5-star rating. Obviously, everyone's mood is not too high next. After all, everything requires conservation, and the luck of Haiban No. 2 High School is also conserved. No surprise, both of them are single-star professions. One battle, one life. As soon as they arrived, it was Fang Datong's turn on the 8th. Seeing Chen Motsai's 2-star combat profession, Fang Datong's heart had already reached his throat. Although his grades are not as good as Chen Mo's, he works hard in training on a daily basis. However, even Chen Mo, who has such good grades, has knelt down, and he has no confidence in himself. As Fang Datong stepped into the awakening formation, Chen Mo temporarily did not answer Shen Bingbing's proposal, but turned to his friend. As soon as the principal's staff touched, 3 stars immediately fell from Fang Datong's head. Samsung career. If in previous years, the principal would still mention it to some extent. But this year, Samsung Professional is no longer eligible to broadcast. The 8th student from Class 3 next to Fang Datong, on the other hand, unfortunately awakened to the 1-star lifestyle profession and walked back to the rest area of his class with a face as pale as ashes. Fang Datong saw that the principal had ignored him, so he walked out of the awakening array and walked towards Chen Mo with a smile. For him, being able to awaken to the Samsung profession is already very satisfying. Lao Mo, I have awakened the 3-star warrior, it's so exciting. I will take you to upgrade in the future. During his speech, Fang Datong saw Shen Bingbing sitting next to Chen Mo, and his eyes immediately turned back and forth between Chen Mo and Shen Bingbing to understand a general idea. He sat down with a smile and said, Bingbing, you have awakened the 4-star profession so well, and this time the novice examination will not consider taking us with you. I am a soldier, and you can go to pull monsters. Your mage will output. We will cooperate with 2 to 4. I will take Laoma, and you will take your little sisters of the 4th class life profession. As soon as these words were spoken, Chen Mo immediately said, it's still not possible. I'm afraid it will delay your upgrade. What's this, Lao Mo, our good brothers? If there's anything to delay, I must take you. Fang Datong grabbed Chen Mo's shoulder and said with great loyalty. This actually makes Chen Mo feel warm in his heart. Whether you rise or fall, the one who treats you the same is the true good brother. Okay, then we may have to rely on you guys. Don't worry, just summon the little skeleton safely from behind. As long as I don't die, I won't let you get hurt. Looking at Fang Datong's carefree appearance, Shen Bingbing smiled and said, although the warrior profession is relatively meager, it's better for you to prepare more healing drugs. We don't have the ability to heal. That's necessary. Although Fang Datong may not seem smart, he's not a fool either. A few people laughed and talked, but no one talked about Chen Mo's 2-star profession anymore. Fang Datong was very sensible and didn't say anything to comfort Chen Mo from beginning to end. Understanding the other person's feelings is enough for some things, but comforting them at this time may actually have the opposite effect. When Chen Mo was chatting, his emotions were relatively stable, but Fang Datong felt much more at ease. An hour passed quickly. Except for 1 5-star profession and 2 4-star professions at the beginning, the rest of the students didn't wake up much. Even so, the performance of the classmates today is enough to comfort Shen Rulong's nostalgia. Today's performance at Haiban No. 2 High School was the best performance in its history. He is eager to report to the College Alliance to obtain the qualification for college promotion. If the college is successfully upgraded, it can be allocated more venue resources and enrollment quotas. Even if he died in battle in the future, he would still be able to hold his head high and his face lit up when he saw the old principals under the 9 springs. Classmates, today's awakening ceremony has been completed. According to the regulations of the College Alliance, all awakening battle professions can receive different levels of reward funds based on the star level of the awakening profession. You can use this money to purchase some initial materials and prepare for tomorrow's novice assessment. Later, remember to report your team roster. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, remember to come to the school on time to gather. We will send strong guards to escort you for the beginner assessment. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Helping you fill the hole. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Helping you fill the hole with the changes in the world. There are no longer any so-called government agencies in the world, but various colleges and organizations are responsible for guarding and managing various regions. Every country will have a college alliance as its headquarters to coordinate everything. The current largest organization is the Global College Alliance, followed by the College Alliance of various countries. According to the regulations of the Huagua Academy Alliance, each newly awakened professional will receive a certain amount of reward funds based on their awakened professional star rating. But this fund will only be distributed to combat professions, and awakening life professions, even high stars, have no rewards at all. The reward for a 1-star profession is 10,000 alliance coins, the reward for a 2-star profession is 50,000 alliance coins, the reward for a 3-star profession is 200,000 alliance coins, the reward for a 4-star profession is 500,000 alliance coins, and the reward for a 5-star profession is 1 million alliance coins. Except for combat professionals, it is not easy for ordinary people to earn 10,000 alliance coins a month, which shows the high reward. That's also why high school seniors are the days that determine one's destiny in life. As long as a combat professional is awakened, even if it is just a star, it at least represents having the ability to earn money beyond the vast majority of people. With the reward distribution completed, everyone can go back today to prepare for tomorrow's beginner assessment. Chen Imo followed Shen Bingbing, Fang Datong, and others to submit their team information, bid them farewell, and then left the campus first. He carried his bank card in his arms and turned towards the trading street behind the school. There are many merchants selling various equipment, skill books, and other items on this trading street. However, most of the quality is not very high and is more suitable for poor people to browse. If you want to buy something more upscale, you have to go to the Linlang Sky. Linlang Sky is the largest exchange in the seaside city. There are many good things to buy inside, but the price is really daunting. Currently, Chen Mo has saved nearly 50,000 yuan in his bank account for his work-study program and the pocket money given by his adoptive mother Lu Yi over the years. Including the reward he just received, the total amount is only close to 100,000 yuan, so he naturally cannot afford to go to the colorful sky. Even in the commercial street, there are not many things he can afford. At this moment, pedestrians were constantly streaming in the commercial street, and there were shouts of buying and selling everywhere. Chen Imo searched all the way and walked nearly 100 meters before finally finding a stall selling skill books. Looking at the booth was an uncle. Chen Imo immediately approached and asked, "Uncle, do you have a skill book for the skull summon skill here?" Skeleton summoning. Upon hearing this skill, the uncle looked at Chen Imo with a strange expression and said, "This seems to be the initial skill of a skeleton mage." "Yes, there are, but this skill book is not easy to sell, and there are almost no formulas that use this skill as material. I don't know where to throw it. Could you please help me find it?" "I happen to have a recipe I need," Chen Imo said politely. "Wait a moment, I'll flip through my backpack." After the uncle finished speaking, he immediately reached out to his waist and began searching for the backpack that looked only the size of a fist. Despite its small appearance, this backpack is actually a spacious backpack with a high price tag. Although this backpack is expensive, every merchant still needs to equip it to some extent for convenience. After searching for a while, the uncle suddenly pulled out a large bundle of skill books like magic. "Ha, I finally found it. Although I know this skill book is not very useful, many old customers often bring in one or two of these unwanted items when they come to sell a bunch of things. I can't refuse to accept it either. I can only accept the price of the cabbage. Look at this big bundle full of skeleton summons. If you need any money, take a book and leave. After all, I set up a stall in a poor commercial street, and the uncle is also very talkative. Chenimo originally intended to salvage 3 books and synthesize them, but unexpectedly, uncle had a large bundle of inventory here. Uncle, how many books do you have in this bundle? Chenimo was drooling as he looked at such a large bundle of skeleton summoning skill books. There are probably hundreds of books, and the lowest price is 100 yuan per cabbage book. Although it's not much, the quantity is large. After careful calculation, I actually bought more than 10,000 for this useless thing. The uncle said helplessly. As soon as Chenimo heard of so many books, he immediately said, "Uncle, why don't you sell this bundle of 12,000 to me? You can make a little profit, and I'll help you fill this hole. How about that? Young man, why are you buying so many junk books back? You can't pity uncle and I'll waste my money." Uncle thought it was his long sighs that sparked Chenimo's sympathy. Chenimo immediately smiled and said, "Uncle, you misunderstood. The success rate of my recipe is very low. Every time I fail, I have to consume 1 skill book. I just want to be prepared. So it turns out, if you're really useful, then I'll sell it to you. To be honest, I'll charge you 10,000 yuan for these 100 books. If you keep them in the warehouse for a few years, I won't be able to sell a single one. You can collect all of them at once, and I'll be satisfied with returning the principal." "Uncle, don't say that. I may need it again in the future. Please continue to help me collect some, and I will give you a 10% profit for each book. It seems that the thing you made with this recipe, young man, is still a consumable. The amount used is so large." Chenimo smiled slightly and didn't say much. The uncle was also very knowledgeable and didn't ask too many questions about the formula. After some inventory, uncle had a total of 102 skeleton summoning skill books here. Chenimo gave him 12,000 yuan this time, and agreed to charge uncle 100 yuan for each book in the future. Chenimo gave uncle 111 yuan. Although the business is not big, we have done enough in terms of human relationships. Uncle usually collects these junk books by hand to stabilize the relationships of his old customers and not to make money from them. Chenimo took away the garbage. He had no choice but to accept, so he naturally didn't care how much he earned. Being able to dispose of unwanted garbage and turn it into money was a good thing. At this moment, Chenimo couldn't help but be overjoyed as he only spent a meager 12,000 yuan to obtain hundreds of skeleton summoning skill books. You should know that any skill book that is a bit normal starts at a price of tens of thousands per book. Whether it's ordinary fireball skills, opportunistic splits, mockery, or any other skill, the price is quite high because there are too many formulas that require them as materials. Especially when synthesizing advanced skills for related professions, a large amount of participation from these skill books is required. When the output is basically constant, demand drives prices, and the natural selling price is also high. Having obtained 100 skill books, Chenimo was already satisfied. Next, he searched for equipment. There are not many people who need the skill book of the Skull Mage, and the equipment of the Skull Mage is actually similar. After all, under the rules of the Heavenly Way, there are strict occupational restrictions on equipment and skill books. This is also why life professions cannot survive, because under such rule limitations, life professionals are unable to use any combat equipment or learn any combat skills. How can they stack monsters with significantly more attributes than humans by relying solely on attribute points? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Choose 1 out of 3 for synthesis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Choose 1 out of 3 for synthesis. Along the way, Chenimo did not see any stalls selling magic wands. He continued to search forward and soon found a stall specializing in magic wands. "Young man, come and see what you need. I have all kinds of wands here. Seeing Chen Mo's gaze fall on his stall, the lady who set up the stall immediately warmly greeted him. But when Chen Mo saw the prices of these wands, he immediately became speechless. Flame staff. Black iron, price. 45,000, cold ice staff. Black iron, price. 46500, arcane staff. Bronze, price. 158888, magic ting staff. Bronze, price. 158888, secret silver staff. Silver, price. 549999, equipment is really expensive. Chen Mo, who was frightened by the price of equipment, looked at the lady and said, "Madam, don't you sell gray stone quality equipment here?" Gray stone quality equipment, not many people buy these things. We usually decompose them into energy powder to make black iron level or above equipment. As she spoke, the lady pointed to a large basket behind her and said, "Look, this big basket will be broken down soon. Sorry auntie, could you please help me check if there are gray stone level dark magic wands inside? I need some. There are too many. If you want to find them yourself, just give me the price of the decomposed products later." Auntie doesn't care at all. After all, she has to pay someone for the decomposition fee when she takes it out. Now if Chen Mo wants her, she can just recycle the money for the decomposition materials. It's just a matter of saving some decomposition costs. Thank you, auntie. Upon hearing auntie's words, Chen Mo immediately thanked her with a joyful expression and ran over to search for her. I don't know which family of children, why don't they even have money to buy a black iron grade weapon for them? It's surprising that they have been reduced to turning gray stone grade weapons back. The lady couldn't help but feel regretful for Chen Machang, who had a clear eyebrow and good manners. Since it was not something valuable, the lady did not stare at Chen Mo, but continued to shout at passers-by. Chen Mo was searching on the side as if there was no one around. Soon, he found a completely dark wand, which looked a bit ugly. It was the dark wand. One after another, Chen Mo dug out many things beside him. After rummaging through the large basket of wands several times, Chen Mo finally came to a stop without hesitation. He looked at the old lady who was shouting with her back to him and said, "Auntie, I found it. I just ordered a total of 90 dark magic wands here. Do you want to count them?" "No need, if you say 90, that's 90. The old lady turned around and glanced at the ground, where she could tell an approximate quantity even from doing business all year round. "According to the recycling material price you mentioned, one piece should be counted as 500 yuan, and a total of 45,000 yuan for 90 pieces. Do you think that's correct?" Chen Mo finished speaking and handed over his bank card. "Well, that's right. Look at you sweating all over your head, auntie will charge you 1,000 less. You can go back and buy a drink." When auntie took the bank card, she handed over 2 tissues to signal Chen Mo to wipe his sweat. "Thank you, madam." Chen Mo said happily, there are still many kind-hearted people in the world. This time shopping, it only cost 57,000 yuan to complete the skill book and weapons, and Chen Mo is very satisfied now. He checked the balance in his card and found that it was less than 50,000 yuan left, but he still wanted to buy a space backpack. After all, with so many things, it's not easy to take a backpack back without space. However, a space backpack is a very expensive item. Even the smallest 1 cubic meter space backpack can be sold for up to 10,000 yuan. The larger the space, the higher the price of the backpack. The price of a 2 cubic meter space backpack has already reached 50,000 yuan, and the price of a 3 cubic meter backpack has even reached 200,000 yuan due to the spatial nature of the space backpack. It cannot be included in the space backpack. It is impossible to buy a 1 cubic meter space backpack and fill it with 1 cubic meter to save money. Of course, if you don't mind the trouble, you can hang a backpack full of 1 cubic meter of space on your body, which can save a lot of money. Anyway, ordinary people can't afford to use this thing too much. Chen Mo has less than 50,000 Alliance coins on him, not even enough to buy a 2 cubic meter space backpack. But Chen Mo thought of his synthesis ability, and immediately spent 30,000 Alliance coins to purchase 3 1 cubic meter space backpacks from the backpack stall opposite the lady, walking back to her back. Auntie is very large, and no one can see what Chen Mo is doing. As Chen Mo's mind twitched, his synthesis ability began to activate. A semi-transparent floating window appeared in front of him that only he could see. There are 3 empty material columns inside this semi-transparent floating window, indicating that Chen Mo is putting things in. Chen Mo placed 3 1 cubic meter space backpacks in sequence. You have placed, space backpack. Normal, *3 in it. Testing formula. Detected that 3 identical materials were put in, your talent has played a role, so there is no need to master the recipe for this synthesis. Starting this synthesis quality inspection. The quality of this synthesis is relatively low, no special materials need to be added. Start success rate detection. The success rate of this synthesis is 100%, whether to proceed with synthesis, please note that after synthesis, whether successful or unsuccessful, all existing materials will disappear. Please confirm. It all showed a 100% success rate, and Chen Mogan had nothing to worry about. He directly clicked the confirm button on the semi-transparent floating window to confirm the synthesis. As Chen Mo confirmed, the image inside the semi-transparent floating window in front of him began to change, and the entire composite window turned into a vortex that constantly rotated towards the center. As the vortex spun faster and faster, the 3 space backpacks were engulfed in it. I saw that the countdown was completed by 3 seconds, and the synthesis had already ended. At this point, some text appeared inside the semi-transparent floating window. Congratulations, the synthesis was successful. Please choose one of the following 3 synthesis options as the final synthesis result. 1 durable backpack. Exquisite, binding, 2. Retrieve backpack exquisite, binding, 3. Expanding backpack. Exquisite, binding, can you still choose one of 3 to synthesize the result? Chen Mo couldn't help feeling surprised. He immediately checked the differences between the 3 options. The first option of resilience means choosing this composite result, and the space backpack will no longer be easily damaged due to damage, causing its contents to fall out. It is a very practical feature, but the size of the space backpack has not changed at all. The second option is to search, which is a practical function that is convenient for the owner. When the space backpack is small, it is not a big deal. It can be quickly found by putting a little something in it. If your space backpack is very large, it will take a lot of time to find what you want to use, which is very inconvenient. For example, the old man just now, although his space backpack is not very large, he still needs to look for some skill books for a while. The space backpack with retrieval function is different. It can quickly retrieve what you need, helping you locate and retrieve the items you need as quickly as possible. However, the first 2 functions are practical, but neither of them is currently what Chen Mo needs the most. Chen Mo naturally shifted his gaze to the last option, expansion. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Difficult to choose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Difficult to choose. According to the introduction after the third option, expanding can expand the space of the current backpack tenfold. That is to say, the backpack has suddenly expanded from 1 cubic meter to 10 cubic meters. If we were to follow the market price, a backpack with a space of 10 cubic meters would already be sold for millions. Chen Mo's casual synthesis is equivalent to turning 30,000 into 10 million. Unfortunately, the things he synthesized through the 3-in-1 method, in the first section of his talent are all bound except for currency and cannot be sold. Otherwise, he could easily become a billionaire by doing a few back and forth transactions. Seeing such a valuable option, Chenmo naturally chose the third option without hesitation. Selection completed, please claim your synthesized item. This synthesis formula has been recorded in the formula list recipe. Space Backpack. Normal, *3 sad face expansion backpack. Exquisite, 100% synthesis success rate. In the future, you can directly input the corresponding materials to synthesize the item. After reading the prompts inside the semi-transparent floating window, Chenmo felt that this synthesis function was quite user-friendly, and he would also record the formulas of things he had synthesized. In the future, it would be convenient for him to synthesize things of higher quality. In this magical world that resembles online games, there are a total of 4 level divisions. The level of skill books is divided into 3rd grade. White, green, blue 3rd grade. Orange, yellow, purple top 3 grades. Red, black, gold. The equipment level is divided into 3rd grade. Gray stone, black iron, bronze 3rd grade. Silver, gold, platinum top 3. Purple gold, dark gold, and divine artifacts. The classification of items is 3rd grade. Ordinary, exquisite, and outstanding grade 3. Rare, rare, epic 3rd level. Legend, legend, myth. The difficulty rating is divided into low difficulty. F level, E level, D level high difficulty. C level, B level, A level difficulty. S level, SS level, SSS level. The backpack that Chenmo just synthesized belongs to the category of items, and the 10 cubic meter backpack he synthesized can only be considered as an exquisite level in the 3rd grade. Of course, since it is the 3rd grade, not all exquisite items can reach a price of tens of millions. Only backpacks, which are relatively special spatial treasures, can enjoy such treatment. Like some conventional exquisite quality potions, the price is only around 100 yuan. With a 10 cubic meter backpack, Chenmo easily packed all the dark wands and the bundle of skeleton summoning skill books into it. After bidding farewell to his aunt, Chenmo immediately rushed back home without stopping. I have just tested the power of synthesis ability, and he is naturally eager to show the skeleton summoning skill book to the synthesis team now. Chenmo's home is located in a crowded tube-shaped building by the seaside. Due to the enormous changes in the world, more than half of the world is occupied by various monster dungeons, and the human survival area is further reduced. Poor families can only live in this crowded dwelling. Fortunately, Chenmo's family is relatively lucky to have a room that can be basked in the sun by the outer wall of the building. Even if it's just the afternoon sunlight, it feels a bit better than the residents in the middle who are completely dark all year round. Taking out the key to open the door, Chenmo only listened to a cross-talk on the TV inside the room. You all said that teacher Yu has 3 major hobbies. Smoking, drinking, and perming, but in fact, he has a 4th hobby that everyone doesn't know. How come there's still a 4th one? I don't even know about them myself, could you tell me? Is there another one who likes to wear hats? Wearing a hat. Well, I also have a special preference for colors. What color? It must be green. He doesn't wear other colors. I can go to your place. In no time, the sound of 2 people fighting came from the TV. Chenmo listened interestingly and immediately walked over to watch with great interest. After this segment was finished, he saw his foster mother Lu Yi sleeping on the sofa. Her delicate face was slightly tired. Seeing her sleeping soundly, Chenmo quickly turned off the TV silently and took a blanket to gently cover her body. After finishing all of this, he lightly returned to his room. Close the door and Chenmo will pour out all the skill books and wands she just bought from her backpack. He first picked up 3 skeleton summoning skill books and threw them all into the material column in the semi-transparent floating window in front of him. You have placed skeleton summoning. White, *3. Testing formula. Detected that 3 identical materials were put in. Your talent has played a role, so there is no need to master the recipe for this synthesis. Starting this synthesis quality inspection. The quality of this synthesis is relatively low, no special materials need to be added. Start success rate detection. The success rate of this synthesis is 100%, whether to proceed with synthesis. Please note that after synthesis, whether successful or unsuccessful, all existing materials will disappear. Please confirm. As Chenemo clicked to confirm, there was no need to wait for the countdown this time, as Chenemo noticed a small button for obtaining immediate results and directly clicked on it. Congratulations, the synthesis was successful. Please choose one of the following 3 synthesis options as the final synthesis result. 1. Stealth Corpse Team. Green, binding, 2 Explosive Bomb Corpse Team. Green, binding, 3. Poisonous Corpse Team. Green, binding, with the fusion of skills, the White Skull Summoning skill has been upgraded to the Green Corpse Team skill. You can tell from the name that the number of summoning has increased. In addition to the original improvement, Chenemo can even choose one of the 3 special effects to add. Due to the fact that only one homologous skill can be learned, the highest level is retained and cannot be learned repeatedly. These green skills are all derived from the source of the White Skull Summoning skill, so even if these skills are combined 3 times and 3 different ones are produced, only one can be chosen to learn, so it is necessary to choose carefully. The first option special effect is to make the summoned skeleton monsters invisible, only appearing after they attack. After not attacking for a period of time, it will enter an invisible state again. The surprise attack is effective, but the actual combat effectiveness does not improve significantly. The second and third options can both enhance actual combat effectiveness. The second option is the explosive effect, which refers to the ability of summoned skeleton monsters to be detonated, which can be independently detonated by Chenemo or automatically detonated after the skeleton monster is killed. The range of detonation is quite large, with a radius of 10 meters, and the damage is related to the life of the skeleton monster. The third option is that the regular attack of the skeleton monster will come with an attack special effect, adding a layer of corpse poison to the target when each attack causes damage. Each layer of corpse poison can reduce the target's recovery effect by 1%, and when the corpse poison accumulates to 100 layers, it triggers a high damage poison explosion. After reading the effect introduction, Chenemo fell into hesitation for a moment. Apart from the first option, both the second and third options were very tempting. Imagine that each skeleton monster is a range of explosive shells that deal damage, and after a chaotic explosion, the speed at which it brushes off the monsters is not even staggering. And corpse poison is also equally good, especially when used to deal with bosses. It can effectively reduce their recovery ability, and also have the opportunity to trigger high poison explosion damage, achieving faster killing goals. One is practical for group harm, and the other is practical for individual use, which is really difficult for people to choose between. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Perfect Matching Features. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Perfect Matching Features. After careful consideration of practicality, Chenemo ultimately chose the second option, explosive effect. Because he considered the probability of encountering group monsters and elite bosses. Upgrading is largely achieved by brushing a large number of ordinary monsters, so naturally choosing a skill with the ability to kill group monsters as a low-level effect is the top priority. Moreover, the effect of self-explosion not only enhances group damage ability, but also provides a significant increase in damage when dealing with individual units. In view of this, Chenemo chose the second effect. Selection completed, please claim your synthesized item. This synthesis formula has been recorded in the formula list recipe. Skeleton Summoning. White, *3 Sadface Explosive Corpse Team. Green, synthesis success rate of 100%. In the future, you can directly input the corresponding materials and choose the formula to synthesize the item. Explosive Corpse Team. Green, occupation. Skeleton Mage, cooling. 5 seconds of effect. Consume 100 points of energy and summon 5 skeleton monsters that last for 60 seconds. The attributes of skeleton monsters are linked to your intelligence and spirit. The current attributes of the skeleton monsters you can summon are Health 100, Physical Attack 30, Physical Defense 0, and Magic Defense 0. The feature is Explosive Bomb. Explosive. After the unit is killed or detonated by the controller, it will trigger an explosion that affects a radius of 10 meters with the unit as the center. The explosion damage is equivalent to the maximum health of the unit. Chenmo has not yet allocated the 70 freely assignable attributes he possesses, so the summoning attributes of the skeleton monster have not changed much. However, even so, with the explosive feature, the practicality of skeleton monsters has greatly changed. Even without adding any attributes, the skeleton monsters summoned by Chenmo can easily deal 100 points of damage within a radius of 10 meters, which is already considered a very good damage. However, only 3 skill books were used for this. Seeing the significant improvement in the effectiveness of the skill synthesized for the first time, Chenmo immediately began further synthesis. This time, due to the existence of a formula, Chenmo quickly combined 2 explosive corpse team skills and additionally synthesized a highly toxic corpse team skill. He wanted to try combining 3 different skills that were synthesized using the same 3 skeleton summoning skill books. As Chenmo threw 2 explosive corpse team and 1 highly toxic corpse team skill book into the material column, the content in the semi-transparent window immediately changed. Testing formula. Detected that the materials placed are not the same 3 types of materials, and did not detect that you have a synthetic formula for these 3 non-identical materials. Therefore, this synthesis is invalid. Please retrieve the materials you placed. Seeing the content on the semi-transparent screen in front of him, Chenmo took out the poisonous corpse team and replaced it with the previously synthesized 3rd explosive corpse team skill. For green skill books, using up a full 12 skull summoning skill books. Looking at a large bundle, it's really fast to consume. Chenmo looked at the semi-transparent floating window and muttered to himself. You have placed in the bomb corpse team green, *3. Testing formula. Detected that 3 identical materials were put in, your talent has played a role, so there is no need to master the recipe for this synthesis. Starting this synthesis quality inspection. The quality of this synthesis is relatively low, no special materials need to be added. Start success rate detection. The success rate of this synthesis is 100%, whether to proceed with synthesis, please note that after synthesis, whether successful or unsuccessful, all existing materials will disappear. Please confirm. This time, the test results are correct and can be directly synthesized. Chenmo immediately clicked on confirm and selected to obtain the results immediately. Congratulations, the synthesis was successful. Please choose one of the following 3 synthesis options as the final synthesis result. 1. Strengthen corpse group blue, binding, 2. Undead corpse group blue, binding, 3. Poisonous corpse group blue, binding. Seeing the words about explosive bombs disappear from the skill name, Chenmo quickly checked the effect of the skill. After seeing that the explosive characteristics of all 3 options were still present, he finally felt relieved. Seeing this, Chenmo also understood that each synthesis is actually an improvement of the original material's skill effect, while randomly adding 3 new effects. Upon seeing the highly poisonous corpse group again, Chenmo knew that even if he had abandoned the effect before, there was still a possibility of it appearing again in the future. This actually allows him to choose without much hesitation. The 3rd effect is already known, and Chenmo focused on the first 2 effects. The first special effect is enhancement, which can enhance the attributes of units with this feature to a certain extent, but only enhance attack and defense, not health. Since we have selected the explosive attribute before, we naturally need to make good use of it. Skeleton explosion relies on health to calculate damage, and the attack of the main body is secondary. Although strengthening the attack and defense of the main body is also a good enhancement, due to the low degree of enhancement, Chen-Mo did not take this effect seriously. The second effect is reincarnation, which allows the skeleton monster to immediately respawn in place with 1 health after death. If this effect is combined with the explosive constitution, it can explode twice in a row. It's almost like doubling the previous explosive effect. Very good. Corpse poison is a powerful weapon against bosses, but the combination of resurrection effects and explosive shells is really amazing. How can I choose? It's really uncomfortable. Just now, Chen-Mo, who thought he didn't have to worry, accidentally became conflicted again. After careful consideration, Chen-Mo finally made up his mind that the corpse poison would still appear in the future. Since the corpse venom can reappear, continuing to synthesize is not impossible. At present, it is advisable to choose the regeneration effect that is most suitable for the explosive characteristics. It's you. As Chen-Mo finished his selection, a brand new skill appeared before his eyes. Undead Corpse Group. Blue, Occupation. Skeleton Mage, Cooling. 5 seconds effect. Consume 100 points of energy and summon 25 skeleton monsters with explosive properties that last for 120 seconds. The attributes of skeleton monsters are linked to your intelligence and spirit. The current attributes of the skeleton monsters you can summon are Health 100, Object Attack 30, Object Defense 0, and Magic Defense 0. The features are Explosion and Resurrection. Rebirth. After the unit dies, it will be resurrected with 1 HP and all abnormal states will be cleared. 100 points of energy can summon 25 skeleton monsters, which is too ruthless. I'm not just a team alone, it's a bit satisfying. After seeing the effect of the skills, Chen-Mo was obviously very satisfied. He found that the green and blue skills he synthesized were much stronger than the established green and blue skills that appeared on the regular market. After all, his skills are obtained by merging and upgrading specific skills, and in addition to the effect of merging and upgrading, he can also freely combine one of 3 to create stronger effects. There are still many skill books left at the moment, and Chen-Mo has decided to continue improving. Just because the blue skill is already so strong, isn't it even more satisfying to continue improving? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Content changes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Content changes. The birth of an orange skill book required a total of 27 white skill books, and Chen-Mo spent 18 more skeleton summons to merge 2 undead groups. After preparation, Chen-Mo immediately threw 3 blue skill books into the material column, but this time, there were some changes in the content inside the semi-transparent floating window in front of him. You have placed 3 undead groups in blue. Testing formula. Detected that 3 identical materials were put in, your talent has played a role, so there is no need to master the recipe for this synthesis. Starting this synthesis quality inspection. The quality of this synthesis is of medium quality, and an additional special material. Dark crystal rare needs to be added. The orange skill book belongs to the 3rd level of the middle class, and it's not that easy to synthesize. However, it's a rare level dark crystal stone. It seems that most elite monsters can drop this material, so you should be able to buy it in the store street. Thinking of this, Chen-Mo went out again and ran to the commercial street. After wandering around for a while, he found a stall selling some synthetic materials. Young man, what materials do you need? Let's take a look. Seeing Chen-Mo searching, the old man who set up the stall enthusiastically asked. I want rare level dark crystals, do you sell them here? If it's rare materials, I still have a relatively complete set here. You see, there are all rare materials over there, and that black stone should be the dark crystal. With the uncle's finger pointing, Chen-Mo finally saw the dark crystal from the dazzling pile of materials. At the same time, Chen-Mo instinctively glanced at a nearby material area and saw a black, pure gemstone. There are also rare-level dark source stones, that's great. The synthesis of a 4th class orange skill book requires the consumption of a rare 4th class dark crystal, while the synthesis of a 5th class yellow skill book should consume a rare 5th class dark source stone. Since it is available, it is better to complete it all at once. Chenimo calculated the amount and found that the remaining skull summoning should be enough to synthesize a 5th class yellow skill. Therefore, he needs to prepare 3 rare-level dark crystals to synthesize 3 4th class orange skills, and an additional 5th class rare-level dark source stone. The amount of skill used for synthesis is so large. I also have a dark wand to synthesize, all of which are of the same lineage and origin. I estimate that the material requirements are also the same. Buying twice the quantity should be enough. Uncle, I want 2 dark source stones and 6 dark crystal stones. How much do you think the total cost is? The unified market price for rare grade materials is 5,000 yuan, while the unified market price for rare grade materials is 11,000 yuan, for a total of 16,000 yuan. It's too expensive, 8,000 would be great. Good guy, young man, you just cut me directly on the main artery with this knife. How could you cut half of it directly? I'll add more, 9,000. To be honest, there's nothing like 13,000 won't come down. 10,000. 12,000. 11,000, if not, I'll leave. There's only so much money in my bank card, Chenimo said before turning around and leaving. Little brother, I really admire you. Alright, I'll sell it to you as a face recognition loss this time. If you have any good things in the future, remember to come to my place to deal with them. That's nature. Although he said that, Chenimo was still a bit speechless. Who would really sell things at a loss? Listening to what he said was dismal, but Chenimo knew that the prices of such materials fluctuated greatly. Materials are not like equipment. The output changes greatly. Once the output exceeds the demand price, it will decrease slightly, and if the output is lower than the demand price, it will increase slightly. Don't be fooled by the high quality of these 2 materials that Chenimo bought. In fact, both of them have a considerable output and prices are not high. Moreover, there are relatively few people using dark materials, resulting in more output and less demand, which naturally lowers the price of things. Some materials, although of low quality, have high demand and require special monsters to produce, which is truly expensive. Chenimo felt that he had lost at least 1,000 yuan this time when he saw Uncle's happy promise. He picked up the 3 outstanding dark stones next to him and said, Uncle, can you give me 3 of these low-level materials? I'll just wait for the additional ones. I really don't have any money. I really admire you. If there are 3 of them, it's okay to give them to you. Thank you very much. Chenimo smiled and handed out the bank card in his hand. Previously, I spent a total of 57,000 yuan on skill books and equipment, and 30,000 yuan on backpacks. At this point, the remaining money in my card is only about 110,000 yuan. These 10,000 have been repeatedly crossed out, and the bank card that originally had a balance of nearly 100,000 yuan may instantly become a deposit balance of less than 3 decimal places. As Chenimo clicked to confirm payment, he also received a notification message simultaneously. Sure enough, by this time, the balance in his bank card had run out of 100 yuan. Although today can be considered the most expensive day of his life, compared to the benefits, Chenimo still feels a lot of comfort in his heart. That is to say, the synthesized thing has been bound, otherwise he wouldn't have felt sorry for this little money just by reselling it casually. Putting the materials into the expansion backpack, Chenimo returned home again. Lu Yi was still sleeping soundly at this moment, and Chenimo did not disturb her. She ran back to the room with small steps, softly and quickly. The materials are in place, Chenimo will start synthesizing immediately. He first attempted to synthesize the material. If the materials can be synthesized from low to high quality, it can save a lot of money for the future. as he placed 3 outstanding dark stones. The immediate synthesis result was derived. Congratulations, the synthesis was successful. What is this? Better excellent dark stone. It has better effects than excellent dark stone and can replace excellent dark stone when used. 1 is stronger than 3. What the hell, the material doesn't even upgrade, it's just stronger than 3 and not stronger than 4. Is there a difference between not synthesizing and not? Chenimo glanced at the talent effect, and it was true that the talent effect did not necessarily mean that after synthesis, it would be upgraded. He only said that he would get better materials, and upgrading is considered better. This kind of talent effect is also considered better, and it is indeed not a problem. Chenimo speechlessly threw it back into his backpack, losing hope of getting rich through material synthesis. He began to continue skill synthesis. With the prompt to add special materials appearing, Chenmoli was about to put the dark crystal on it. Start success rate detection. The success rate of this synthesis is 100%. The success rate hasn't changed, that's great. Chenimo thought that as the grade of the synthesized product improved, the success rate of synthesis would also decrease, but fortunately, it is not happening at the moment. Congratulations, the synthesis was successful. Please choose one of the following 3 synthesis options as the final synthesis result. 1. Poisonous corpse group orange, bound, 2. Holy corpse group orange, binding, 3. Bloodthirsty corpse group orange, binding. This corpse poison effect is really persistent, you always choose 1 out of 3. Chenimo felt a bit embarrassed not to choose it. It's just a routine matter. He still checked the effects of the last 2 options first. Dark creatures such as skeletons and zombies are subject to divine damage and are suppressed by the heavens. For example, the divine skill healing technique was originally used to heal, but if this skill is released against dark monsters like skull monsters, it will directly convert into an equal amount of damage. The coefficient of healing skills is often higher than that of damage skills, so it is easy for sacred professions to deal high damage against dark monsters. The special effect of the second option is that it can convert all the dark monsters summoned by Chenimo into divine attributes, so that they will no longer be suppressed by divine attributes. Although it may seem like there was no additional improvement, only a transformation of the elemental attributes of the summoned object, this transformation is a significant improvement. Chenimo is actually a bit interested in this option, but at this stage, he is not in a hurry to deal with this attribute. He has turned to the third option. End of this chapter.